Wakey, wakey.
Marjorie, did you just put your foot in my mouth?
I know you're over there dreaming about how you want to macaroni my salad.
Babe, your mom just put her toe in my mouth.
Mom, don't do that. We're trying to sleep. Sweetie, your boyfriend said he wants to grab a handful of my pork rinds.
Marjorie, you gotta get out this house.
Babe, stop being mean to my mother.
How am I being mean? I'm still spitting up foot chips.
Did you just say you want me to nuzzle up next to you?
No.
Babe, she can lay here for a little bit.
Are you kidding me?
Make way for Big Mama, baby. Now this is comfy wumphy.
A couple years ago, I was filming in this sketchy alleyway with my boy Jalen, and he ditched me at a moment where it seemed like we were about to be attacked. First of all, I like filming at night because it's just easier for me. People are less busy. So this particular night, we had already been filming for a couple of hours. It's now 12:30. We're tired. We only got a couple more shots to go. In the middle of this take, we hear some wrestling on the other side of this dumpster. Jalen calls cut. He's like, yo, did you hear that? I'm like, yeah, I don't know what it was, but let's keep going. We're almost done. I realized at this moment, Jalen's spooked. There's no getting him back. It's late. He's tired. I got to hurry up. So I'm like, all right, let's get to the next shot. Ready? Come on. We hear some more wrestling. Jalen's like, nope, nope, nope. Now, Jalen's a spiritual guy, so he immediately breaks out into a prayer. He's like, oh, Lord Jesus, please protect us from whatever's hiding around this dumpster. I'm like, Jalen, we're good. Come on, let's just get to filming. As soon as he's about to call action, boom, this little raccoon jumps out from the other side of the dumpster right in between us. Jalen now takes off in a full sprint toward the car. I'm like, yo, Jalen, come back. He's like, nope. I'm like, why are you running? He's like, God told me to. I'm like, Jalen, please, come on. We only got one shot. It's a little raccoon. Now, I don't care what nobody says. Raccoons are terrifying, especially if you didn't grow up around them. Like, I didn't grow up around raccoons or seeing them. So this is like maybe the second time I might have seen one in my life. So I was terrified, but I wasn't trying to show it. So I was trying to prove to Jalen, like, yo, bro, look, it's a cute little thing. It's not going to bother us. We can keep filming. So I go up to it. I'm like, come here, come here, come here. All of a sudden, boom, on top of the dumpster was like the mom or something. This raccoon was massive. It was like the size of like a small pit bull. It had red glowing eyes, muscles. I think I'd be lying if I said it wasn't smoking a cigarette. Like, this thing was huge. Now, I'm assuming it thought that I was trying to attack its baby or something because it stood up on its hind legs and it made this weird chirping, hissing sound that I had never heard in my life. It was like, I'm not even doing the sound right. It sounded something like that. At this moment, I said, screw it. I'm creeped out. This is enough for me. I'm going home. So I moved to grab my stuff off the ground. And as soon as I do, there must have been a whole family of raccoons on the other side of that dumpster, because I look up and now there's 5 of them in front of me. They're all staring. Now, again, I didn't grow up with raccoons, so I don't know the protocol of what you do when you come across a wild raccoon like this and they're surrounding you. I'm like, what do I play dead? Do I jingle my keys and make a lot of noise? I was like, yo, Jalen, what should I do? He's like, you should pray. That's what I did. I was so irritated. I was like, okay, this is it. This is how I'm about to go out. I'm about to get mauled by a pack of wild raccoons in Los Angeles. I'm like, yo, Jalen, we gotta go. I need you to drive the car to me. I'm not gonna make it past them alive. He's like, I don't have the keys. I realized at this moment I'm screwed, but I was so terrified I just stood perfectly still, like as if their vision was based on movement. I didn't move until they left. I think I stood there for like a solid 20, 25 minutes until they all left. I have no clue where they went. I don't know where their home base was. They didn't go back to the trash can. I don't know where raccoons sleep. I don't know where they go. I was so confused, but just glad they left. We finally finished the sketch by like 3 in the morning. The worst part is we still go back to this location to film at night and we still come across raccoons. And it is just as scary every time. I guess the moral of the story is just don't mess with wild animals and they won't mess with you. Raccoons are still terrifying though. When I was 17 years old, I went on what was probably the worst, most awkward date of my life. There's this girl that I really liked and we would talk all the time. We're always texting and she was always laughing at my jokes. And back then, in order to be wifey status, in my opinion, all you needed was to laugh at my jokes. So one day I'm texting her and I'm like, it feels right to ask her out. And mind you, at this point, I hadn't known her very long. Like, I just knew that she had a beautiful smile and some luxurious hair that was always flowing and blowing in the wind. As I'm texting her, I'm like, you know, one thing we haven't done is gone and had a bite to eat. Like, I never used the word date. I should have said specifically date, but I never did. So I start listing some restaurants. I'm like, you know, this would be a cool spot to go to. This would be a good spot to go to. And she's responding and she's like, yeah, we haven't. But one thing I missed in all of her responses is she kept saying the word we. Like, oh yeah, we haven't been there. Or, oh yeah, we really would like that restaurant. And I should have paid attention to that. Either way, we finally agree and we're gonna meet at a certain restaurant. So fast forward time, we're at the restaurant, we're sitting there. I'm excited because like I shot my shot. It was a swish. The waitress comes up and she's like,
"Would you guys like any appetizers to get started?"
and she's like, well, hold on, we just need a couple minutes. So I was like, all right, well, yeah, sure. So the waitress is like,
"All right, let me know if you need anything."
the waitress walks away. And I tell the girl that I'm on the date with, I'm like, well, I'm ready to order. Like, I know what I want. She says, well, we should wait because he's almost here. And I said, he who? I mean, I'm pretty sure our waitress was a girl, but I don't want to assume gender. And she's like, haha, Jesse. And I was like, who is Jesse? Suddenly this goofy guy comes walking up to the table and sits down next to us. And she was like, Matthew, this is my boyfriend, Jesse. Jesse, this is my good buddy, Matthew. I was like, wait, what? I was so thrown off because not only was I just friend zoned harder than anybody in the history of the planet, but this bombshell information of her having a boyfriend was just dropped on me like a nuke. I was flabbergasted, to say the least. I'm actually pretty sure I said, I'm flabbergasted. I'm angrily just staring at this guy now, just heated at both of them. She's like, babe, this is my friend who I told you's been wanting to take us out for a while. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Suddenly the waitress walks up. She's like, you guys want anything? I'm like, not right now. Under the table, I text my cousin Brandon. I'm like, yo, bro, I need help out of a situation. Call me with a fake emergency, make it sound believable. I'm putting you on speaker. A couple minutes goes by. This couple's just looking so in love. I'm looking so angry. All of a sudden my phone rings and I'm like, oh, yo, this is my cousin Brandon. Hold on. I put it on speaker. Brandon's on the other line playing an Oscar-worthy role. He's like, Matt, it's Tasha. I'm like, wait, what? What happened? He's like, it's Tasha. Tasha, bro, she's in the hospital. We don't know a Tasha. He was just playing the heck out this role. He's like, bro, we have to get to the hospital right now. Right now, it's an emergency. I was like, okay, I got it. He's like, Matthew, now. I'm like, dial it back, Brandon. I got it. He's like, okay. I hang up the phone. I'm like, y'all, man, oh my God, I wish I could stay. I want to stay, but I can't. You know, Tasha. They're like, no, yeah, go. I leave out of there so fast. I was so relieved, angry, and hurt. It was a mixture of emotions. Yeah, so moral of the story, you know, shoot your shot because you just might get your date, but also have an exit strategy set up, you know, just in case it's not what you think it is. So my favorite car that I've ever owned literally exploded in the parking lot of my apartment complex. And I have pictures to prove it. Here's the car on fire. Here's the car on fire from another angle. This is the car burnt now. It literally just exploded one morning. Like, nah, I'm tired of this whole driving stuff. Pow, I'm done. Quick side note, I'm letting my brother Mark do the art for this special edition episode, so you won't get my high caliber HD quality characters, but you know, enjoy his little bootleg cartoon work. All right, back to the story. Now, like I said, this was my favorite car, right? I just hooked up the sound system in the car, put some subs in the trunk, like just put brand new rims on the car. I felt so confident standing next to it, driving it. It was my favorite car. So naturally, I was so hurt when I saw my car in the parking lot exploding. So what happened is this morning, I'm sleeping peacefully. It's like 5 a.m. Now at this time, I should have been on my way to work, but I had overslept. I didn't hear my alarm. So I'm passed out. All of a sudden, my neighbor is just banging on my door. You just hear, doo, 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 doo. I'm roommates with my brother Mark at the time. My brother Mark pops out of the room. He's like, yo, what is going on? I pop up freaking out like, yo, why is somebody banging on the door? And I go to the door, I'm like, yo, who is it? My neighbor's like, hey, I think your car's on fire. And I was like, I wasn't sure what he was trying to tell me. I'm like, what do you mean my car's on fire? He's like, no, it's exploding. I'm like, what do you mean my car is exploding? He's like, literally exploding. So I open the door and I turn the corner. I look over the balcony and I see my car literally on flames. Now, when I say exploding, I mean just that. Like in the movies, you could audibly hear boom, boom, boom with each fireball. So at this moment, I go to freak out level like 10, right? I call 911. I'm like, get the fire department here ASAP. My car is exploding. If the fire gets to the fuel line, the whole place is gonna go. Like I'm losing it. The lady's like, okay, sir, calm down. Tell me what's going on. Fast forward, finally, by the time the fire department gets there, right, and they put out the fire, I'm just distraught because at this point, I realized that my car is done. Like it's totaled. There's no way it survives this. Like I'm just distraught, right? My brother's got his arm around me. He's like, yeah, you know, I'm not gonna tell you it's gonna be all right, but yo, I'm sorry. So now at this point, they got to do like a whole like investigation thing, right? So I couldn't even like touch the car. I couldn't do anything. An officer comes up and he starts questioning me. He's like, so have you made anybody mad recently? And I was like, not that I know of. Like, I try to make everybody happy. He's like, what about any ex-girlfriends? You have any ex-girlfriends that you might have made mad? And I'm like, no. And he's like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, for the second time, I'm pretty sure. He's like, are you sure there's no ex-girlfriend that's mad that might want to take out some revenge and maybe burn your car? I was like, yo, bro, like, this sounds a little personal, man. Did you go through something? Like, who hurt you? So finally, after the police and firemen leave, and my car is just sitting there burnt, I realize now I got to call into my job and tell them I'm not going to make it in. At this point, I'm already over an hour late. I didn't even think to call them. So I call my job and I tell my boss, like, hey, I'm so sorry. I'm not going to make it into work today. My car exploded. Immediately, my boss didn't even believe me. He was like, you're saying your car exploded? I'm like, yes. He's like, exploded. So basically, this is your excuse for saying you overslept? I was like, well, yes, but also, no, exploded. Like literal fireballs shooting out of the hood of my car. He was like, now I've heard some excuses in my day, but a car exploding has to be by far the worst excuse I've ever heard. So they didn't even believe me until like the next day when I show up to work, and luckily my brother took pictures. We also had a video. Unfortunately, I don't know what happened to the video, but we had video footage and pictures of the car exploding. I still think even after seeing the pictures, my boss didn't believe me. Like maybe till this day, that man thinks that I set my car on fire just so I could call in. Like what an excuse. Like, oh man, I don't want to go to work today. How about I just blow my car up? What's even crazier is I realized that like, yo, if I was driving to work, I would have been in the car while it was exploding. Like the whole steering wheel area, all of that was on fire and I could have been in the car. Who knows if I would have got injured or not, but yeah, sleeping in and being late for work probably saved my life. There you go. For anybody who feels bad calling into work. So yeah, moral of the story, you know, if your car starts exploding, make sure you take video and pictures. And, you know, don't feel bad if you got to call into work. You know, maybe you could be saving your own life. We all got that one friend that can embarrass us at any given moment. And if you can't think of one, there's a high chance that you're the friend that's embarrassing all your other homies. Now, my boy Nate Jackson is hands down one of the funniest comedians ever. But when we're in public, he has given me plenty of embarrassing moments. Perfect example, I went to the grocery store with him recently, and he was singing out loud every item that he was picking up. He was like, ooh, we gonna get some eggs. I'm like, Nate, we don't need to be singing all that. There's people looking at us. He's like, nigga, ain't nobody paying attention to us. I'm like, Nate, there was a lady right here staring at me. Anytime I would try to walk away, he'd be like, Matt, where you at? I'm like, Nate, stop singing my name. But this one time we went to a Denny's and I could not believe what he did. As soon as we walk in, you can see that it's packed in there. The first thing Nate does at the top of his lungs is like, we in here, we gonna need a table for two. I'm like, Nate, come on, man, you know that's not how this works. He's like, nigga, this is Denny's and I'm hungry. I'm getting us a table. So the hostess walks up. Before she can even talk, Nate just starts laying on the charm. He's like, oh, how you doing, beautiful? She's like, I'll be with you guys in a second. Because she's clearly busy. So I'm looking around the restaurant. I'm seeing that every table is full. And I'm like, yo, Nate, I don't think we're going to be seated anytime soon. He's like, nigga, stop being so negative. I'm like, no, it's not negative. I just don't see an open table. And that's where I should have watched my words. He's like, oh, you can't see? You need help seeing? He picks me up from under my arms. Now, mind you, I'm a 6'1", 200-pound grown man. He picks me up and lifts me in the air over his shoulders, and he's holding me up in front of everybody in this restaurant. And he's like, do you see an open table? Nigga, can you see an open table? I'm like, Nate, put me down. I can't believe he's holding me up like this. He's not resting on anything. He's not leaning me on anything. He is just holding me up under my arms like I'm a toddler. I was like, Nate, sit me down. He's like, nah, nigga, I just want to make sure you can see an open table. I'm like, Nate, please, you need to put me down. It was so embarrassing. My feet are swinging as he's turning me. Finally, he sits me down. I'm feeling like less of a man, and I'm just staring at him out of pure irritation. He's like, what, nigga? Did you see anything? I'm like, nah, man, like, that's embarrassing. You just did that in front of everybody. He's like, nigga, ain't nobody even concerned about you. I was like, bro, there's a whole family just staring at me. They had all stopped eating just to watch what was going on. Eventually, we did get seated. We ate our food, and what made it worse is he's such a genuinely nice guy. He paid for the meal, but I'd already felt like less of a man. I was like, nah, man, I'm gonna pay for my half. Like, don't worry, I got my half. But he's just a nice guy, so he paid for it anyway. He wouldn't let me cover my part, so. I guess moral of this story, get you some friends that'll embarrass you in public because it makes life a little bit more enjoyable. But yeah, my boy Nate Jackson, he's hilarious, but he'll embarrass you. The sad thing is, as I'm telling this story, I know he's logging it away and he's just gonna make my life a little worse now in public. And he's gonna roast me and I'm gonna go through it. I know it. I know Nate.